What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Man to Man Podcast, episode 2, titled "The Super Bowl is Set." Got my boy Tom over here. How are you today?
Man, I mean, it's just hard to get back in the swing of things. I had a politics class at 8 a.m., and that was just horrible
Why do you schedule a class for 8 a.m.?
because I had to. It's not my. I had a
Sounds like
very
you
limited
didn't.
option.
Sounds like you didn't plan very well.
Well, I had a very limited option because I'm fully remote, and they still have classes on campus, but my options being fully remote were like nearly cut in half. So
Cry me a river. All right.
notice I'm not sad about it.
I would be sad about it if I have an 8 a.m. class, but those are the classes I just didn't go to. Hence why I didn't graduate college. So that's a story for a different time. So let's get into it today in sports history. In 1924, the first Winter Olympic Games are held in Chamonix, France. I don't know. And then in 1939, Joe Louis knocks out John Henry Lewis in one round for the heavyweight boxing title. So that's your today in sports history. I'm not going to lie. I completely forgot to write that in there. So I just went to the website and put in the first two things I saw. So
I don't even know who. I don't know either of those boxers. It's a pretty bad day in sports history, man.
You better know Joe Louis. Or I think that was his name. I don't know. Whatever.
You said Lewis twice, so I got confused.
I think the one guy's last name was all right. Whatever. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We promised not to go the 3 hours like we did last week.
That was a fun one, though.
I like
going
fun.
through the drafts.
It was fun, but next time we should probably split it up into 3, or just do like a hour and a half mock draft, and then just
start with it. We did like so much stuff beforehand.
There's a lot of stuff in the news. I mean,
yeah, man.
It was the worst loss I've had in I don't know, a year. So
yeah.
So today, we obviously covered sports history, and so we're gonna get started with the NFL again. We're gonna go from the most recent game to the one that's farthest away from us. So the Bucks, and God damn it, Tom Brady's in another damn Super Bowl.
Do you know as soon as he takes his first snap, he's going to have played in 18.5% of all Super Bowls.
Yes, I heard that. Yes,
isn't that crazy? And once he plays in this one, his the amount of times he's gone to the Super Bowl in his career is like 44 or 45%. And Steph Curry's career three-pointer is 43%. So Tom Brady has more likelihood of making a Super Bowl than Steph Curry does making a three-pointer.
That's crazy. I mean, that's just crazy. Yeah, I mean, so basically yesterday, if you want to talk about what great quarterbacks you are, I mean, people talk about the Aaron Rodgers. I think Rodgers is the better actual mechanically wise quarterback, but Tom's the greatest winner. Well, we saw what happened out there on the field, and Tom still got it. I mean, and now he has the same number of NFC championships as I think as Aaron Rodgers and someone else there as well. So
I know that he had his first NFC championship appearance in his first season, and over the last 25 years, the Cowboys have only been to one. So he is the same as the Cowboys there.
Well, the Browns have been doing AFC thing in a while either. So, but yeah, so that was a pretty good game. I don't know, we'll get more into it. I gotta look at the but I mean, it really just came down to like, for me, it was like I expected Tom Brady. Like, you could see Drew Brees over the course of the season, and even a little bit from last year. He just didn't have the arm strength anymore. I think Brady can still make 95% of the throws he could make when he was 5 years ago or something.
Yeah, it just wasn't meshing well in the beginning of the season. But the thing that really tipped the scale, I think, for me in that game was the defense. And like, obviously it was a little apparent. And I know Tom Brady threw for 3 interceptions, but that Buccaneers defense is it's so good. It was a bunch of young guys too, which is just really.
I mean, they stuff you up the middle with Vea. I mean, like Devin White in the middle linebacker. And they got Sean Murphy bunting at the corner, and then I don't know who's at the other corner. But I mean, their offense just alone, it almost reminds me of obviously lesser, but like a lesser NFL version of Alabama's offense this year. I mean, obviously they don't have they do have a power running back in playoff Lenny, and then I mean their receiving core is, I would say, when Antonio Brown's playing, it's the best in the NFL. So
easily the deepest.
Yeah. So I mean, Scotty Miller. Who's that
rookie?
Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, he's a slot guy out of Minnesota. But yeah, it just seems like I mean, it all came together at the right time for the Buccaneers, and I mean, they're lucky that Leonard Fournette got rushing a little bit at least. But yeah, and then I mean, obviously, the biggest issue in the game was you can't give the ball back to Tom Brady, or the going for the field goal there. I've thought about it multiple times. I have no idea what he was thinking.
So I wanted to kind of leave that because I know you have a question about it here on the outline a little bit, but like that might have been the dumbest move I think in a playoff game, maybe in a normal game too. But that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. You're down a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, 2 minutes left, and I get the thinking like, oh, I got 3 timeouts, I'll get the ball back. No, you're not with Tom Brady.
Yeah, exactly. And it was the same thing for me last weekend with the Browns and Mahomes. I mean, I didn't want him to punt, but I did it thinking, they did it thinking that Chad Henne was going to play quarterback, and he did. So it ended up, you could have stopped him. But I mean, they knew they were giving the ball back to who go down as the greatest quarterback of all time. And just because you have 3 timeouts left, I mean, he should be fired just on that alone. Like, you have Aaron Rodgers, who's probably the most gifted physically, and you have 8 yards to go until the end zone, but yet you're down by 8, but yet you cut it to 5. It was just, it was.
Well, and you knew as soon as they punted that Tom wasn't giving them the ball back.
No,
I mean, let's be honest. You knew from that moment.
Yeah,
it was the same thing when you went to overtime with that Falcons game. Like, you knew like the game was over as soon as the Patriots had the ball.
Yeah.
You just had that same feeling.
And I mean, I haven't been watching a lot of the Buccaneers here. Like I said, I don't watch a ton of NFL except for the Browns. But I mean, I don't know what I was going to say. I was thinking of something. I forgot what I was going to say. But the Bucs they were good, and it just took them to come together like that. And I mean, they have one of the best offensive lines. I mean, their center Ryan Jensen is easily the best center in the game right now. Maybe Corey Linsley stands with him. But, I mean, and I guess this leads me to another question. I mean, have we seen the last of Aaron Rodgers in green and yellow?
I'm going to go ahead and say no. And my only reasoning for it is that he's going to win MVP this year.
Yeah, right? But, I mean, yeah.
He's got to win it. And I don't think Jordan Love is that good. And I think that the Packers are going to finally see that.
Yeah, but I mean Aaron Rodgers. I guess if you compare him to Tom Brady, he's still got like 7 years left. But you can't. I mean, you got to think when he's 40. I think they'll extend him for like 2 years or maybe like a year or so, just to kind of ride it out, and then he'll finish like I wouldn't mind seeing him finish kind of like Phil Rivers did in Indy, but and that means though that the Packers need to draft a wide receiver in the first round this year. Like, they need to. They need to have someone to complement Davante Adams, because Davante Adams, if he's your only like deep threat outside, I mean, they're going to double team him all game. So
not even just that, like, it's a win now team. They don't have a ton of money.
They don't
Aaron
have
Rodgers,
time.
Exactly. Like, Aaron Rodgers is aging, yes. Davante Adams, I think, is 27, 29.
27, he's 27.
He's 27. So, like, he's not that young football-wise. Like, he's into, like, being a veteran. So, this is a win-now team. They don't have a ton of money. I know their defense is kind of young, but they're all coming up on contracts around the same time, I believe. Like, this is a win-now team.
Like, I think Zadarius, whatever his name is, from Kentucky, he's up for one too. I think Adams is actually up for a contract, if not next summer, the summer after that.
I think he's on for one more season.
And then Rashawn Gary, who was huge for them. I mean, and then they got to pay find a way, if they haven't already done it, they got to find a way to pay J.R. Alexander because he's probably, other than Jalen Ramsey, the best cover corner in football.
I agree.
I mean, Tre'Davious White's up there.
Nah, I hate Tre'Davious White. He's not that good.
Sherman was up there at one point, but not Sherman. Yeah, not Richard Sherman. Gilmore was up there at one point, but yeah, I mean, I think it's him, Alexander, and him, and which is another thing I found so weird. And the Browns do this too. Like the clear best corner on the Packers roster is Jaire Alexander. Like the clear best corner when he plays for the Browns is Denzel Ward. Why was he not following around Adams either Godwin or Evans the entire game yesterday? There were points where he was just in the slot by himself.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, if you're telling me, like, oh, I'm going to have him be my Darrelle Revis or my Richard Sherman, where they just play on one side of the field and completely take away half the field, I'm fine doing that.
That's exactly what Ramsey does for you.
Exactly. He's that, and it all started with Revis too. Like, but they just don't do that. Like, and you got to do one or the other. You have to let him play on half the field and completely take out that half of the field, or you need to have him just cover the number one receiver.
He needs to be moving.
It's got to be one or the other.
Yeah, so I was very, and like I said, the Browns have done it all year, and the Browns have always done it. I've never understood it. Your best corner, I mean, unless you have like a slot specialist kind of guy, other than that, I mean, your best corner needs to be out there on the edge. And if he's not good enough to be out there on the edge, then you need to start having practicing at the slot because that's where he's going. So,
yeah, I have so many problems with what's going on with the Packers, honestly. Like they are a win now team, but they drafted I think their top 2 picks or 2 out of their top 3 picks. They drafted a quarterback and they drafted a running back in A.J. Dillon. And isn't it funny how Aaron Jones's contract is up this year or next?
I didn't know that.
They were ready to do a youth movement, and then Aaron Rodgers came out and did this, and they're like, oh, crap, we have a win now team.
Yeah, but I like Aaron Jones. I think he's pretty good. But I think he's more of a benefactor of Rodgers being so good. Like,
agreed. He's not worth the money, in my opinion. I don't like him.
I mean, you can put either a young guy there, or I mean, like Kareem Hunt would be awesome in that Packers offense. He make him carry it 15 times. He can catch 5 balls, and I mean that's perfect. But so Aaron Jones being up for a contract, I mean they'll move. I guess I'll ask you first. Who are the only running backs in the NFL right now that you would feel that you would feel is worth the money that you can't just find in like the third round of the draft?
Are we talking about like guys who don't have contracts already or are going to be expiring over the next couple seasons?
Guys who are like on their rookie deal. Yeah.
Okay. So like we're not talking about like Derrick Henry or McCaffrey or.
Yeah. No. Like all those, the young running backs, all of them under like all of them that have been, they're under 25, like Chubb, Henry.
Yeah.
McCaffrey.
Chubb, Henry, McCaffrey. Saquon, when he's healthy, I still think as a top guy.
Yes, I agree, but I mean, he needs to come out. He needs to come out and have a big year next year, or they're going to jump ship on him.
Yeah. So what I really want them to do, because I watch both the Jets and Giants pretty religiously, I want them to have him come back, and then who is the running back that they had this year to kind of replace him, who was doing really well? Ryan loved him because he had him on fantasy.
Oh, I know who you're talking. I know who you're talking. Was it Wayne Gallman?
Wayne Gallman. Yes. Yeah. So Wayne Gallman was playing at an RB6 level, at least fantasy wise, for a long stretch there. So what I really want from them is to bring Saquon back and have him give up some of that snap count. Because when he's healthy, he's playing, 90, 95, 100% of the snaps from running back. Take a year to just kind of scale him back, get it down 75%, 60%, just to let him get through a complete season.
Yeah, and it also helps the Giants, it could hurt the Giants in the end, I guess. The Giants need to get offensive linemen this draft. I mean, they just need to. They drafted Daniel Jones with no help around him, and Saquon's had some like unlucky breaks, but I mean, they basically have had him for 2 full years, maybe. Like
he's 20
or 1.5.
Well, I know he played 16 games his rookie season. Then
Yeah,
it was like a 14,
that.
a 13, and then this year was like a 6 or whatever he got hurt.
I remember his rookie year because he won the rookie
over Baker,
and he got the
chain.
That was terrible. But so like I view running backs in like two different categories. Like I view Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb in a different category than I view McCaffrey. I think Alvin Kamara might be the best running back in the NFL right now.
I think he is personally.
I mean the way that he can. I mean they've implemented him more with Drew Brees' arm going, but the way that coming out of that gun, like coming from the gun. And I mean, he's got some power, and I mean, it's so hard when you think of like right now. I'd say he's better than Christian McCaffrey, but I haven't seen Christian McCaffrey play in 2 years.
So my thing with McCaffrey, he's great, and he can do a little bit of both. I think he's a better pass catcher than he is running back. With Kamara, I think he's equally as good as pass catching as running back, and that's what makes him more valuable. You know, we saw him rush for the 6 touchdown game, but there are also games where he catches 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, and obviously Kamara benefited early on because in the early years of his, I mean not the early years, but like even 2 years ago, you had a pretty healthy Drew Brees and at the time was the best receiver in the game, Michael Thomas. So and
that just opened up holes for him.
Yeah, and so in like where you have like other guys is that they didn't open up holes. So, but I mean, yeah, I feel like McCaffrey wouldn't be as effective if he was like the main go-to guy. Or no, I don't think Kamara would be as effective if he was switched place with McCaffrey. Like if he was their man in Carolina, I mean, I don't know I think he'd probably have a little bit more success because he's more of a powerful runner. But other than that, I think, Christian McCaffrey, he's another guy that needs to stop getting hurt. Yeah,
him and Saquon both. But going back to the question you asked me, I mean, that's a really short list of guys who are worth the money for the running back. And I'm just because I pulled it up here on my other screen, Aaron Jones's contract was up this year. He's a free agent.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we can kind of lay it out. The running backs that I think would be worth the money, Henry, Chubb. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to give the money to McCaffrey because what he can be. If he ends up being a bust, he ends up being a bust. Kamara, Saquon.
That's really about it. I mean,
not Zeke anymore. Definitely not.
Especially with the money he got.
Yeah, not Zeke. Yeah, I think there's six running backs that I would give money to. And
I'm not really looking at rookies because I feel like it's too early to tell. Clyde Edwards-Helaire could be a guy that could be worth it. Same with Cam Akers.
And same with Jonathan Taylor in Indy.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but yeah,
it's too early to tell. But that's basically it. That list of like 6 or 7 guys. And Aaron Jones is not on that list. He's going to demand a huge amount of money because of how he's played over the past 2 years. But he's definitely not worth it unless he goes to the right system.
Yeah, and I'll say something before I move on. I don't know what I was going to say, so we'll move on. But yeah, it was. We're back to the topic of the Packers versus the Buccaneers after going way off course, but that's all right. But yeah, it is interesting with the Packers. Like, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I got to tell you, I probably want to leave.
Yeah, I mean, they don't put with the amount of quarterback openings there are this year compared to next, wouldn't be a bad idea.
And I mean, well, see, the thing that with Rodgers, I think, is he's going to want at least 2 or 3 more years where he's still the man wherever he goes.
That's why I think my best fit, and I was at dinner with my buddy the other day, and we kind of talked about this. My favorite fit for him right now is a tie between the Colts and the 49ers. Because the Colts don't have a quarterback on their roster entering next year other than Jacob Eason, who's definitely not ready.
No. So believe me, no. I'm all into my Georgia. I'm up to my knees in Georgia right now. But go on.
But they don't have anyone, so they don't have to try moving someone or whatever. But with the 49ers, you know, they're like a really good quarterback away from being able to open up that offense. And
I don't know if they have the receivers that they – I mean,
It's still a step up from what they had in.
I don't know. Are the receivers in San Francisco a step up from Davante Adams? I don't know.
It's really more of a question of, do you want a bunch of good quality receivers or do you want one extraordinary receiver? If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm tired of throwing the ball at guys like Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Geronimo Allison, and those guys when Davante Adams is double covered. I would rather have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, who's really young.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting the other guys. I know there are a couple more, but I'd rather have
Auden Tate, I think, plays for him. I don't know.
Does he?
I don't know. I don't even know who he really is, but yeah.
I'm gonna pull him up real quick just so I can.
Yeah. So but I think a perfect fit for him. That's what I was gonna say. I think it's Pittsburgh. He's used to the weather. Ben retires. He comes into Pittsburgh.
They're on another win now team.
Yeah, you sign. Well, the thing is, I think they're going to let go of Juju Smith-Schuster this year because of Ben is old. But if they brought Aaron Rodgers in, Juju Smith-Schuster, Chase Claypool,
Deontay Johnson, James Washington.
That's a defense that's a defense that's getting older at parts, but has enough young pieces like Fitzpatrick, TJ Watt, and
you don't have to lay it out any more than their defense is the top defense in the NFL. We get it, but I'm looking at the 49ers now. They get Deebo Samuel, which he's good when he plays. Brandon Ayuk looked like he could be a number one receiver. Then the other guy I was trying to pull was Kendrick Bourne, who also is a very solid guy. And then they also had Richie James, who came up big, and they have a top running game in the NFL.
But they don't have the top running back, which is why I like their running game, but they don't have a top running back. But I don't know if I feel like Aaron Rodgers is not going to be like Phil Rivers, and he's not going to just go somewhere to die out. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is more like LeBron James, where he's going to be still very good for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And so he just kind of wants to go somewhere new and win champions there. So I would hate to see him in Pittsburgh. It would destroy me. But I could if he wanted to do that, I could see him coming to Pittsburgh. But.
Well, my friend that I was talking about this with was a Steelers fan, and he said that is an option, but he doesn't think it's possible with the cap room that they have and the amount of young contracts they have to pay out within the next couple of years.
Yes,
the other team that he brought up was the Saints, just to slot Rodgers in for Breeze.
I mean, if you get Michael Thomas back to playing like the way he was, and that he does, and
Kamara,
and being that Michael Thomas just didn't like Drew Brees anymore, so I think he's fixed if you bring in Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, I mean,
I don't even think it was that he didn't like Drew Brees. I mean, did you see the report that he was playing with a torn patella or something, and then some ankle problem and a shoulder thing? Like, dude was banged up out there because he wanted to get Drew Brees another title. That's explicitly what he said. It was I was out there playing for Drew. So I don't even think it was that, but I think that he just needs to get healthy. And Rodgers can utilize him as much as he wants, like he does with Davante Adams.
We'll have to do this one time for an episode. I want us to sit down and you have your old quarterbacks like Rodgers, Brady, Breeze, those guys, and then compare them and kind of get the likeness to the younger guys like Baker, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And just kind of see and then maybe even if we're that far down, see who the next people coming up are, because I really feel like I think by the end of next year, there will be a full quarterback evolution of a passing of the guard to those guys, the younger guys.
Yeah, I feel like that's coming as well.
Yeah,
it'd be fun also to kind of predict where everyone's landing because, like I said, there are a ton of quarterback openings this year that aren't really around often, and there are a lot of them.
Yeah, that's why. We'll probably talk about it more next week, but that's why the Deshaun Watson. I think it was someone from Pro Football Network, but they were like, if this trade happens, it's the biggest in the history of the NFL. A Deshaun Watson trade, being how young he is, he's only 24. How good of a quarterback he is. It's the biggest history.
It'll be up there. I agree. I'm trying to think if there's a bigger one. I think maybe the move of Joe Montana so Steve Young could take over might be up there as well.
Yeah.
Because I know that Montana was a little older, but he still made KC relevant.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, Deshaun Watson is literally not even in his prime yet for the most part.
That's true.
I mean, that's just an interesting situation over there. I mean, I feel so bad for the Texans because their owners are idiots and they've been known to dabble in weird things. And Bill O'Brien, just if you ever want, like, if you see like what's a synonym for like just destroyed something, Bill O'Brien did that to that whole organization, and they let him do it. It was insane.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, but
back
now
over to the other game.
Yeah, we'll hop on to the AFC game, and
that was so difficult for me to watch, man. Like you know how much I love Josh Allen, and
I know,
like,
but I know, and I agree. I think people got caught up in the fact that the Browns kind of played with the Chiefs last week, and they were just so caught up in the Bills that just for someone new that they forgot how good the Chiefs really are.
Yeah, man, and like I really want the Bills to invest in linemen because that was the only thing holding Josh Allen back. He had zero time. Like that was my biggest takeaway. He had zero time that entire game. He was running for his life all the time.
I have this to say about Josh Allen. I have a couple things really. I don't know if you've checked Twitter recently, but after that game, there are a lot of people that are saying Baker Mayfield is better than Josh Allen. I don't know if I agree with it totally yet, but Josh Allen is also the type of quarterback to me that will leave the pocket before he has to.
I agree with that. He did that a couple times, but it was more because he actually saw a hole. But then I don't know.
And that's where it's hard for me to look at Josh Allen as like a complete quarterback because with that build, he should be able to run, but he's not fast. He's very slow moving and like.
It's because he's indecisive. You know, you remember his combine time?
No, of course I don't.
It was like 4.4 range, like maybe 4.5 or 4.6, but he's 6'8", running a sub 5, and I don't know. I think it's because he's more indecisive whether or not he should run. I think that's something that McDermott needs to work with him on in the offseason, but I truly do think that part of it too is that remember his rookie year, he got absolutely destroyed with the sacks. You know, it wasn't all time bad, but like he had no time. So I think it's part of him is in the back of his head.
And I understand that. I get that. But that's part of the reason you draft a guy like Josh Allen is because he can take all the hits and he can get beaten up. I don't know. I just expected him to get better against the Chiefs. They kind of make the Chiefs defense look above average, which is crazy because other than Tyrann Mathieu and Chris Jones, the defense is nobody.
And Frank Clark, he's good too. He's a good combo with. Chris
yeah,
Jones.
they do it out of Michigan. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and we all just forgot that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback on the planet. Travis Kelce's the best tight end on the planet, and you literally can't guard Tyreek Hill because he's so fast.
And that's what I'm saying. Tre'Davious White needed to stay with him. He didn't, but like I don't even think he could have.
I don't think he could have
either. I'm not a big fan of Tre'Davious White.
The only way to beat him is you have to play a deep zone, I would say, and I mean because no one could cover. I just remember when they were playing the Browns last week, and this is when Romo wouldn't shut up. But I actually paid attention to this part. He was like drawing the play that the Chiefs did, and it's true they do this. They run all the time. So instead of 4 verts, they have spread, and then Tyreek Hill's on the inside, and everyone else runs verts, and he runs a vert, but it's just sideways. He just crosses the field.
Yeah, he does it's even on a play in men. It's literally straight out of men. Everyone runs straight verts, and then there's the one guy that just goes over the middle, and that's Tyreek Hill, and he's open every time.
I know, and he's just so fast. I gotta say, I mean, the Bucs defense looked good, but
they always have looked good though. They've been a top 10 defense from day one.
I haven't seen the line for this. I thought it was going to open around 3. I don't know. Hold on. Let me check that real quick.
I do not see a spread.
I got it. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, I mean, the Super Bowl is clearly is 2 weeks away. So I mean, we have time.
So I have I go on bonus.com and it gives you FanDuel, MGM, DraftKings, all the other ones. They're all hovering around 3 in favor of the Chiefs.
Yeah. I got the sorry, that's something in my headphones. But yeah, I got the Vegas odds. It's Chiefs -3. I think that's about it.
That's gonna stick with the line. That's a good line. I saw a couple 3.5s, but again, that's just to make sure there's no tie.
I mean, obviously with betting, it also all depends on who bets who and whatever. But yeah, I mean, right now I would take the Chiefs -3. I think.
I'm really mad that I can't root for anyone in this game. I'm really mad.
I mean, honestly, the best Super Bowl I ever had, and this is when I was like really sick last year and like not good. I was in the hospital for the Super Bowl, and I was just by myself, and they had me on my meds, and it was the greatest Super Bowl I ever got to watch because I was by myself and no one was bothering me, and it was amazing. But it was in the hospital for the wrong reasons. But yeah, I just so it's 2 weeks away, so obviously that'll fluctuate. But I agree. It won't go over 4, and it won't come down to 2. So I mean, you could see anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5, I would say. But yeah. But like I said, early on, I would pick the Chiefs to win. But I mean, there's obviously a game to be had, and I mean, I expected more out of Josh Allen.
It was a disappointing performance, and I'm not denying his responsibility for that. I get that it's there, but I don't think it's solely on him like everyone's trying to say.
And like I said, I was disappointed in Josh Allen yesterday, but I mean, clearly of the new group of quarterbacks other than Mahomes, I mean, it's Allen and Mahomes really, and because they can win in the playoffs, I guess Lamar and I guess maybe the Browns at some point. But I mean, Josh Allen has proven already that he can go farther than any of the other ones. But
other than Mahomes,
yeah, I mean, I can't even think like who's going to be like the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning of the next time. It's going to be
it has to be Mahomes
and Allen. Wait.
You know, and they're both AFC again. And it could be Baker.
And then Baker will be the Giants.
He'll be the Giants that just comes in and says, "I'm going to own either of you."
But yeah, so that's pretty much what we got for the NFL. We talked about Rodgers leaving. Like I said, that
Stupid
Matt LaFleur. I just don't understand what he was doing. Like, they kicked the field goal, and I kept looking at the score. I was like, have they not added it on yet? That is the only way I can think of that they kicked this field goal.
Well, and did you see Rodgers' comment after the game?
No, I didn't, but I saw he was pissed during the game.
He was pissed during the game, but he was asked about it. He's like, you know, why did you guys go for it? And his response was, or why didn't you guys go for it? And his response was, it wasn't my decision.
Yeah, see, he's
gone, bro. Like, he's so gone.
I know. Well, he didn't like when they brought in LaFleur, and then I thought they kind of connected last year and this year a little bit, but he's so mad that guy didn't call for him to go on fourth down. He must have been heated on the sideline, but
he's probably happy that they're wearing the masks on the sideline, so the TV doesn't see him cursing him out.
Yeah. So obviously the Super Bowl is 2 weeks away. We're excited. I can't wait to hear all the stories that come out about Tom Brady and how big of a winner he is. And you know what makes me so sick? I just thought about and forgot about this. Those asshole New England Patriots fans that act like they can be Buccaneers fans now just because Tom Brady
don't even get me started.
It is unbelievable. It is sickening. I hate them.
They're like, I'm a Tom Brady fan. I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
Oh my God. I saw so many people on Twitter yesterday, and I was like, and they're all say the same thing. You're right. Like, oh, we just want Tom to do well. We cheer for Tom to do well. I'm like, dude, you can't do this. You deserve They
The only
deserve to
comparison
suffer.
that I can think of is a LeBron fan, but like even those, I hate those too. I'm like, I get it. You still like LeBron, but you're not a Lakers fan now. You're still a Cavs fan. There's a difference. You can still be a fan of someone, but you can't change your allegiance.
Yeah, and they were all over it. They're just like, oh, we're cheering for Tom. We're cheering for Tom. And then if the Buccaneers lose, they'll show that they act like they don't care.
You should have came back to the Patriots.
Yeah, no, and they'll be like, oh, well, it didn't matter. It wasn't the Patriots. The Patriots didn't lose in the Super Bowl. It wasn't the Patriots.
Yeah, they put themselves in a win-win situation.
Don't even get me started. When I was like in the sophomore in high school, I wanted to live in Boston so bad, and I wanted to go visit. Right now, at this point in my life, I would never go within 75 miles of Boston or anywhere near it. I hate everyone that lives there. Except the people that listen to this. I like you guys. Okay.
Yeah, you guys are chill.
All right. The last thing on the NFL, did you see the Pro Bowl is going to be played virtually on Madden 21? Yeah, they announced
that earlier, like a couple weeks back or whatever.
Like, I don't understand.
It's so stupid. Like, what about those guys are like, oh, I don't want to play football outside of like the game. Like when my brother plays football, he played football throughout his high school career. All right, maybe I got to step back on that because he started playing Madden like halfway through to try and learn stuff. But like when I was playing basketball and stuff, I refused to play games like 2K because I wanted to get away from the game. Like I didn't want to be football 24/7. So like having it be on Madden is so stupid.
That's a very interesting point. But yes, I agree. It's so stupid. And like, I understand they're like worried about COVID and health. I mean, the one thing that the Pro Bowl has been semi-entertaining at the Pro Bowl, the past 10 years, the game, if you like the game, it's whatever, but the skills competition was always kind of interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And it was fun. Like watching Mitch Trubisky out there trying to make throws was just so much fun.
Yeah, so I don't know why they're doing it on Madden. Just do the skills competition. Don't do it. Or just, you know what? Cancel it all. Instead of voting for Pro Bowlers, just go first team NFL, second team NFL, blah, blah, blah. Fan vote.
And that my biggest problem with the Pro Bowl is the fan vote. Like, I'm sorry, but, you know, I published an article about the snubs of the Pro Bowl. A guy like James Robinson, huh?
So that was you. I thought that was Derek's.
No, that's mine. He might have done one too. I put one out finally, and like James Robinson, how is he not on the Pro Bowl list? He's literally the MVP of that team, and you want to know what it was? It's because Jacksonville has no fans. They can't go and vote because there are no people to vote for Jacksonville fans. Like it's so stupid that who was the running back that got on? Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs made the Pro Bowl because it's Vegas and people like the Raiders over James Robinson. I don't even think Josh Jacobs like sniffed 1,000 yards.
I am so going to take that last 30 seconds and just cut it and send it to our social media team. And that'll be the preview for our show. I've never heard someone so passionate about the NFL Pro Bowl.
Dude, it's so stupid.
You have to be the most passionate Pro Bowl fan ever.
No, dude, I don't even watch the Pro Bowl. I'm just more mad that it's so stupid and rigged. Like, and now they're doing it. Oh, and now there's going to be a Madden celebration. No one cares. That's what I'm mad about. No one cares other than getting their guy to the Pro Bowl. And it's so dumb. And like the players don't vote like they do for the top 100 at the beginning of the year. Like I think that should count more than like a fan vote. Because you say, oh, fans can go vote 10 million times for their favorite player. That just means that people have free time. Like, it's so stupid.
Are you done with your rant on the Pro Bowl?
I just think the whole thing's stupid and they need to scrap it. That's my thing.
We have to move on.
Final thought is screw the Pro Bowl. Just get rid of it.
I agree with that, but I've never heard someone so passionate about it. So move on to the NBA, the thing that me and you both pretty much don't like. The only thing I really have is the Cavs might win the NBA championship. They beat the Nets 2 games in a row this weekend.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Colin Sexton for my dynasty team, and I've always liked Colin Sexton. So like this is just an absolute win. Colin Sexton is MVP material.
No, I hated Sexton when they drafted him. I still don't like him much, but he's all right. And then obviously this question comes up with the Nets losing 2-0. I mean, we obviously both don't like the NBA, and really I want to see them destroy themselves.
I do too. I hate them since they left New Jersey. I mean,
I would love to just watch Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden all fight over the ball every game. And
they really did destroy. And like we said it when we had the show where that trade was going down, like as it was unfolding as we started. Like we said this was such a stupid trade for the Nets because they gave up literally most of their draft capital and all of their bench. Like they have no names on the bench. So I'm just waiting for the report that Kyrie Irving's getting traded because they realize how utterly stupid it was to give up their entire bench.
Yeah, and how utterly stupid Kyrie Irving is sometimes.
Agreed.
All right, so that's pretty much it in the NBA. We don't have an update on Kyrie Irving. I heard he played this weekend, though, so good. He's in public. That's good.
Did you see his interview that he was doing when he was getting asked about where he was? Dude looked like crap. He looked like he just got out of a gutter.
Yeah, I saw him.
It was horrible.
So we're going to move on to a little college football news and possibly a college football conspiracy. First, we have Domani Jackson. I'm kind of bummed about this. He's the number 5 player, according to 247 Sports, in the 2022 class. He's a corner. He committed to USC. It was basically between USC and Ohio State for him. But he chose USC, which there could be a coaching change, so that could change. But
that's surprising to me. Like if you have the opportunity to go to Ohio State, so many of their players and especially their defensive players go to the league. When's the last time you heard a USC corner go in the first round?
You're getting so close to what we're about to talk about, so we're just going to wait on it. Notre Dame's on a 1-year self-probation after recruiting violations. I mean, I just don't know. I don't understand. I've never understood Notre Dame, like as a campus, like they seem like fun football fans, but like I don't think they can party or anything. It's like a dry campus. Like, is it a church? I don't know.
I've been up there a couple times. It's a good time up there. I'll just say that much.
I agree. I mean, I don't know what it's. I've never been to an Ohio State game.
Really?
Yes. The only 2 times I had a chance was when I was in college and my buddies had gave me one of the student tickets and I passed out beforehand. So didn't make it to the game.
Oh, man, I love that for you.
Twice.
Oh.
But wow. So we were going to get into my personal conspiracy theory really quickly. I don't think the article's up. I sent it to you, so you know a little bit about it.
I read it. It was very well written, by the way. I really enjoyed it.
It honestly was the most effort I put into a writing piece in a long time.
Well, it showed. It was a very good article. Definitely check it out.
So I basically wrote an article today. It's going to be a 5-part series, one coming every day through Friday, but it is entitled There's a Coaching Problem in Athens, Georgia. And what Kirby Smart has done with Georgia and Georgia fans and just the amount of talent that he has gotten over the years that has been paled, that they didn't win with, and like the biggest fact of the matter is he does not know how to coach quarterbacks.
I don't understand it, dude. Like Jake Fromm literally was a god coming in from high school, and he the hockey stick, like everyone's always talking about, like, oh, you gotta start off low and then do the hockey stick upward. He did the reverse.
Yes, he
was garbage.
Yeah, I most of my article tomorrow is going to be on that and that relationship. But he basically played Jake Fromm for a full year, for 3 full years, and then the year where he was his worst, which was his junior year, and then because he obviously decided to declare for the draft because some idiot told him to. But so his senior year, he was not very good at all. Georgia was not very good, and sitting on the bench was literally the only player that's ever been ranked higher than Trevor Lawrence in any kind of ranking. ESPN, he was ESPN's number 1 player, Justin Fields, and was sitting on his bench. And the only times he could think to get him in were blowout games and fake punts. And then you have the whole situation this year where he came out and said in week 2 that JT Daniels is cleared to play. He's good to go. Medically, he's good. And then did not start JT Daniels and started DeJuan Mathis and Stetson Bennett. Mathis was a little-known 4-star prospect, and Stetson Bennett was a walk-on. He decided to play those two over the 5-star from California,
who had college playing experience.
I
don't get it. And like, I liked that Bennett when he played. Like Stetson Bennett played good, but why aren't you playing the 5-star from USC? I didn't get it.
I mean, if you look back at it, really, and obviously, I go into more detail like over the past years and everything. I'm just getting into it. I just finished like the Nick Saban disciples, the coaching tree. I mean, it's insane how either all of them are so bad, and then they're just good too. So, but yeah, so I'll be getting in more to that. But I mean, I don't know. This is the first time in a while I've felt like actual like I really want to do this, and I don't know why. But I was
man, it was good. Like seriously, it was a very well written piece.
I just don't understand. Like JT Daniels was healthy. They lost to Alabama 41-24. Not necessarily a winnable game, but with JT Daniels, you never knows what happens because it was week 4. He was clear to play. You could have been in the national title game over one of the best teams in the historically just because you beat him early in the season. So I never understood what happened there, but we'll move on. Like I said, all the pieces will be up at some point this week. I hope mine goes up today. I don't know, but we'll move on to some college hoops news. Michigan, I mean, we all knew this was going to come, not at Michigan, but necessarily at Michigan, but Michigan's on a 14-day halt after COVID tests were popping up. I mean, it's only a matter of time before, this starts happening. I mean, the more and more the college season goes on and the more games they play, the less likely I think the tournament is for some reason.
No, and that makes sense because a team like Michigan, they don't know they have it until the test comes in. They could go out and play before they even realize they have it.
Yeah.
And you just start spreading it across the country.
So we'll probably talk about it more as it comes closer. Well, definitely more as it comes closer, even a little bit before that too. It's going to be very obviously they're playing all the Final Four all in Indianapolis or Indiana.
Yep.
But like, what do you do after the conference championships weekends? You can't just go straight into that March Madness because they could still have it, but they don't know, like because they could have gotten it this week. So you have to wait. You'd think 3 weeks to start March Madness.
It would. I could see them doing a 2-week halt. Just say like you need to do a self-isolation for 2 weeks and then travel.
I could see that, but then again, you're throwing.
Remember, this is going to be a bubble in Indiana. Like I said, they had 7 or 8 stadiums locked up where they're going to be playing these games. I mean, they could travel and then do the 2-week mandatory stop and then have March Madness and have it roll into April a little bit. Maybe stop the season a week or 2 early, have them move in, and then right at the beginning of March start the tournament in the bubble.
Yeah, they can't really cut season short now. I just think it's going to be interesting to see what they do because I got like the biggest. Oh, it's always so fun, like conference championship weekend, and then that next whole weekend, including Thursday, you don't go to work and you just watch March Madness all day, every day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can't have that this year. You can have it that day, but it's not right after conference championships. So.
Yeah, no, you're going to need 2 weeks to just kind of let everything settle, let them get settled into the hotels, do the quarantine, and then start. And, at that point, you're starting in mid-March, and then you're going to be running into April. But I still really want them to have March Madness because of how deprived I was last year.
They need to. I honestly, and this is actually kind of serious. I don't think a lot of those schools can go this year with their athletic departments if they don't do March Madness.
Yeah, like a school like mine, like they revolve around the revenue of having the conference championship and then going to the tournament.
Yeah, and especially because there's no real football, right?
Yeah, no, our football team is technically – we play teams like San Diego State. The biggest team that we played was Princeton. So like they're playing like the bottom level schools just to still be D1 because they have to because of our basketball programs and our baseball. But yeah, we don't really have another sport. It's literally just basketball, and most of the revenue for the year or two coming up comes from making the tournament or even the NJIT tournament, and just running the ads, the merchandise, literally everything. Like a lot of the budget is revolved around the March Madness tournament.
Yeah, and I really think that they're either the only way I think they do it is if they shorten the field. But because
make it 32 instead of 64.
But you can't do that because there's so many more conferences. I don't know. Obviously, we'll talk about it more once it comes. 2 more college basketball, though. Kansas lost 3 straight games this past weekend for the first time since 2013, which was surprising that was only like 8 years ago. I thought it would be way farther back. I can't remember Kansas ever losing 3 straight, especially at Fog, losing 1 at Fog. I mean, but Adidas is just crushing everybody, so whatever. And then obviously Hurley, the Arizona State coach, was reprimanded for yelling about officials. I've never understood this, and maybe we'll go over this one day and just have like a rules we hate. Just a rules we hate podcast. And okay, so this
Stupid
is
fumble out of the end zone, number 1.
This is off topic from that, but the fact that NFL players and NBA players and Major League Baseball players can be flagged or penalized for taunting or using bad language is absolutely a joke. I hate it.
They're grown men in a competition. In competition with another grown man. You don't need to throw a flag for, like, I get the flag for taunting sometimes. Like that Josh Allen. Did you see the thing with Josh Allen where he like flicked the little ball and it hit Chandler Jones in the face?
No.
He got a penalty for that, and it offset another penalty. Dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, I get it. Yes, he flicked the ball in his direction. It's like that Cole Kmet throwing. Remember the flag when the Bears were in the playoffs? I think it was versus the Saints. Am I wrong? I think it was the Saints.
Yes.
He threw the ball to the official who was behind the Saints player that he was jawing with. He was sitting there talking with the guy, and he flipped the ball over the guy's head to the official and got flagged for taunting.
Yeah,
because he threw it in. It's just what?
That and some of the roughing the passer calls are just garbage.
Yeah, they're starting to get soft. The NFL is starting to get soft.
So, but yeah, we'll do a whole little segment on that maybe one time. But we got some other things to get through. No real news in baseball other than
George Springer to the Blue Jays on a big deal. Mets didn't want to pay over 120. They paid 150.
Yankees, Jameson Taillon from the Pittsburgh to the Yankees.
And then they also traded Ottavino, I think his name, Ottavino. He just got traded this morning to the Red Sox.
Oh, great. And the Nationals and Brad Hand, ex-Indians player, agreed to a 1-year deal worth $10.5 million. That's crazy because Brad Hand was not that good this year. All right.
They need relief badly in Washington.
Yeah, well, they suck. So we're going to go with the Mount Rushmore of March Madness upsets. We each have our own little lists.
I think I overlap with you a couple of times.
Mine aren't on the list. I mean, I didn't put any. I never mind. You want to go first, or you want 2 second?
I'll take the 2, as usual.
Okay, this is easy. Obviously, the biggest upset in the history of March Madness. UMBC over Virginia in 2018.
Yes, indeed.
I remember watching the news either that night or the like, not the news, but like Sports Center that night or the next morning, and I thought it was a joke. I honestly didn't think it was real.
I flipped over and watched the end of the game. I saw they were losing at 10 minutes left in the second half, and I'm sitting there, I'm watching multiple games. I had my laptop and my iPad. And I was sitting there watching the game. I'm like, I just need to focus on this game because I'm watching history. It was insane.
Yeah, I mean, and they beat them pretty handily. So, all right, you're up with 2.
All right, so I'm gonna go with a game later, way back in 1986. Villanova, who was a number 8 seed, upset Georgetown in the final.
Yes, I remember that, of course. What was that
Patrick
coach's?
Ewing.
What was that coach's name? Rolly. Oh God, what was his name? Villanova's coach.
Villanova's coach.
Yeah, Rolly.
You're thinking Georgetown's coach was Rolly Massimino.
No,
That was Georgetown's coach.
It was Nova's coach.
Are you looking Nova's coach?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was. Maybe that is okay. I must have. I read it wrong.
It's that Massimino guy. Yeah.
Massimino.
Yeah, biggest one.
Yeah, that was with Patrick Ewing in his prime. Yeah, I mean, and Patrick Ewing was the best player in college basketball at the time, and number 8 seed Nova beat him by.
And this is also true. I mean, relatively back then, an 8 seed would be like probably a 15 or 16 playing a 1.
Yeah, and Georgetown was easily the best.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with that one. And then the other one I'm going to do is North Carolina State over Houston in 83.
83. The 80s were a good decade of upsets, that's for sure. Jimmy V, Jim Valvano.
Yep, Joe Valvano was the headline, and they beat Houston team with 2 Hall of Famers on it. Of Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler.
Yeah, that was those teams were good. Those Houston teams and the Running Rebels in the early '90s were insane.
With Larry and
they were so good.
I'm forgetting the I always forget the point guard. But also worth noting, North Carolina was a 6 seed over Houston's number 1 overall seed.
Gotcha. North Carolina State's not North Carolina. So I said
2. North Carolina State, didn't I?
No, you said North Carolina. Okay, I got bad. 2, and then you'll go 2. Then I'll have the last one. So this one, it really depends on how you determine upset, really, or how you look at it. This was an upset. It wasn't one of the 1 or 16s, but in 2015. Wisconsin over Kentucky in the Final Four. Kentucky was undefeated, and they lost to a good Wisconsin team that had lost the previous year to Kentucky when they were an 8 seed. So this was pretty big. Yeah. In terms of national championship, that was a big one. So
I remember watching that. I was in a hotel room because we were down in Florida or something at the time. That was the Kaminsky team, right?
Yeah, it was Kaminsky, Sam Decker, all those guys. Yeah, they ended up. I remember that national championship game. They ended up losing to Duke because I think the refs called a total of 42 fouls in the second half or something like that.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was literally every time someone touched someone there, I got.
And then my second one. This was just big for me because it was coming at the time when the upsets were becoming more frequent, and even a 15 over a 2 wasn't as gigantic as it seemed back then. But when the 15 seeded Lehigh, whatever they are, beat Duke in 2012, it was one of the greatest moments of my life.
Yeah, I mean, CJ McCollum was just balling out, dude. That was insane.
CJ McCollum's actually a huge Browns fan.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's from Glen Oak. It's it's like by Akron.
Okay. Huh.
So yeah, I saw he went to the same high school as Costa Kufos.
Yeah, really?
They both went to Glen Oak.
Huh.
I think they played together, but Costa's older. But McCollum played. I saw Costa play in high school. So, dope. But yeah, I thought when Duke lost, when they finally lost, that was the most just like successful and like you're really hungry and you just eat something and you're so happy. That was like me when Duke finally lost as the 2 seed. I was just, yes, they are failures. So I hate Duke. It's going to be get off topic for a second. It's going to be weird this year. I think there's a possibility that Duke and North Carolina could play two games this year against each other, and they'll both be unranked in both of them.
I think that's true. Aren't they both unranked right now?
Yeah.
I'm going to have a really hard time seeing them break double digits as a seed. Like they're going to put them in. They're going to put them both in just because of the name, but it's going to be hard to see if they're. I think if they even put them as like an 8 or a 9, that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it all fills out. The ACC is not very good this year. It's been a weird year. It's just been a weird year for college basketball. But so you're up with 2 more, and then me.
All right, I'm gonna go with the last 2 on my list then. So I'm gonna go with a number 11 seed beating a 1 to go to the Final Four, and that was George Mason over UConn in 2006. UConn had not Hall of Famers, but future pros with the headliner of Rudy Gay, Josh Boone, and Hilton Armstrong.
Josh Boone, I remember that. Yep.
So George Mason, beat a couple of different solid teams to get there, and then they ended up going to the Final Four. They ended up losing in the Final Four.
That was the first like legitimate Cinderella story for that. It was the first thing that there had been many years without it, really.
Yeah, they were like the resurgence. And
yeah, I remember I was in like 2006. I was in like grade school in like 3rd or 4th grade, and we all my basketball team, we all went and bought Final Four shirts for George Mason.
I mean, it was just an overall great one. I didn't get to really remember watching it because I was 6, but it was.
Come on.
And then my final one is a 2 over a 15, I believe.
A 2 over a 15 or a 15 over a 2?
15 over a 2. Whoops. Back in 2013, it was Florida Gulf Coast over Georgetown.
No, that was my last one. God.
I had a list of 8 of them because I figured come up with the top 8.
More. I still have more on my list too. God, I'm so glad you went with that.
Well, I mean, Florida Gulf, they beat them by double digits.
Yes, that was
that was a dominating performance, and it was Otto Porter led.
That was that was just like a game where they just dominated, and I always remember that game because the Florida Gulf Coast players, I remember, they looked like they were having so much fun. Yeah,
and it was just a great game to watch because they played team basketball and were having fun while doing it. It was literally like the embodiment of what the sport was meant to be.
Oh, yeah.
They played well in the next round. They lost by like 2 or 3 or something like that.
Play well.
But they did play well in the next round. They lost by a couple of points.
Yeah, I know.
But
little unknown about that team. The head coach went on. I think he got the job at USC after that.
I'm trying to find his name.
Yeah, someone was positive. He's like a young dude.
Andy Einfeld.
Yeah, I think he got a job off of just the 1 win over Georgetown. But hey, good for him, man. If you can parlay 1 win into a lifetime or a career, that's like backup quarterbacks. They just need to have one decent game. And
Matt Henne was a starter in Miami, and he turned it into a lifelong career as a backup. Matt Schaub, another one, was a backup for Atlanta. Went and played some good years with Houston and went right back to Atlanta to be a backup.
So I guess my final one, yes, I have. You took that one. You took George Mason. So I got 2. I got 1 now. This one is more. I know it from just the call of one of who is it? It's what's his name? Gus. The announcer, the Fox guy, Gus. This is bad.
I don't even.
Gus Johnson.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how you don't know that. That's crazy. But
I did.
But this was in 2009 in the it had to be the second round. Northern Iowa beating Kansas, and all you really remember from that game is Farouk Manesh from 3, and like because his last name is Al Farouk Manesh. I always remember that. I do have one that I missed. Kent State going to the Elite Eight in 2002.
That one's more for a personal one for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, not really. My parents really, but yeah, that was yeah. Then they lost to I know I can't think of his name. So they lost to Indiana in the Elite Eight.
Bobby Knight.
No, right? That was in 2002.
Oh, it was 2002.
Kent State.
I totally got that wrong.
What did you think it was?
No, I thought it was like later, like further back. I didn't realize that was 2002.
Yeah, 2002. Trevor Huffman, what NFL will be an NFL Hall of Famer played on that team?
Antonio Gates.
Good job, buddy.
Not that much.
So did you miss any? You want to plug any?
No, like I said, I came up with 8 and we hit all of them. So.
All right, so we're going to skip fill in the blank for now. We're definitely going to do next week because I actually had it up today, but we have to get this moving. We're going to do some Major League Baseball trivia, and then we'll get into our bets of the week. I have 2 Major League Baseball questions. Do you want to start or you want me to?
I have 3, so up to you.
We'll pick 2 of them.
All right, well, then – okay. I'll start if you want here.
Okay.
There's only been 1 inside the park home run in the All-Star game history. Who hit the inside the park home run?
Oh my God. Wasn't it kind of recent?
2007. And he played for a smaller team.
Ichiro Suzuki.
Ichiro Suzuki.
Yes.
Love Ichiro, bro.
Another fun stat about Ichiro is that, like after he got done in Major League Baseball, he still went over and played a little bit in Japan or wherever he's from.
Yep.
And like during his last year with Seattle, his career batting average jumped over the 300 mark, and it's literally impossible for it to go under 300 for the rest of his life if he ever played more.
I thought I actually saw a stat recently. I loved Ichiro.
He was awesome.
I saw a stat that after his 10th at bat, he got his batting average, like in the majors. After his 10th at bat in the MLB, he brought his batting average up to 300, and it never went below that ever again.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's Ichiro. Ichiro is the man. I love Ichiro.
Love Ichiro.
Probably the last sort of true hitter, just not power hitter or just true contact hitter we've had in a while.
At least the last good one.
Or they're just the most memorable. We know them.
There you go.
Since 2007, this team has had 5 American League Cy Young winners. What team am I?
Oh. So when you say Cy Young, is it 5 different people? Or is it
it's 5 different people.
Okay. And it was NL or AL?
AL.
I'm torn between the Indians and the Yankees. I'm gonna go with the Yankees.
It's the Indians.
I knew it. I knew it, and I was like, I'm not going against the Yankees.
Sabathia, Cliff Lee, Corey Kluber. Who was the other one? Corey Kluber. Then Shane Bieber, and I can't think of who the 5th one was. All right, whatever. You're up.
I'm so mad because I knew it.
I made him easy, dude. Come on.
Anyway. So last year in 2020,
who has won a Cy Young recently for the Yankees?
I don't even know. I don't know baseball whatsoever.
Okay, go on.
This is like my unknown ground. At least for the NBA, I know stuff.
This is my baseball and hockey. This is my South Carolina baseball hat.
I know NBA history. I don't really follow much anymore, but I know old NBA and I know football and college basketball. Like baseball and hockey, I don't know anything. Anyway.
True story. When I went to South Carolina for my freshman year, it was harder to get weekend tickets to a baseball game than it was to get a football game.
Really?
The baseball field down there is, I mean, obviously not like Major League, but it's better than most AAA, AA, and single A organizations. I mean,
it's like Vanderbilt's.
They won back-to-back championships in 2010 and 2011. So, go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, in 2020, so last season, the Padres became the first team to hit a grand slam in 4 consecutive games. Who hit the 4th grand slam?
Fernando Tatis Jr.
Try again.
Manny Machado.
He came over from the Royals.
Hosmer.
Eric Hosmer.
I didn't get it. You only get one guess, bro.
Well, I wanted a little nudge because I know that baseball is not your specialty either.
I mean, okay. This player won the AL MVP in 2014, 2016, and 2019. Who am I? This is pretty easy.
Corey Kubler?
It's the MVP, not the Cy Young.
Oh, MVP?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Why would I ask you to choose Cy Youngs?
I don't know. Christian Yelich? I don't know. I know he won one recently.
He's in the NL. It's the
Brewers are NL?
No. The Brewers are NL. AL.
Yeah, and you said the AL MVP.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Brewers are NL. If you don't get this right, I might start questioning you.
I don't know baseball.
Who is the only name that you know?
Mike Trout?
Yes. God.
Bro, I whatever. I don't even know.
I actually
he should win it every year, and I get confused when they don't give it to him because he's literally the best player ever in baseball right now.
That's 100% true. But
so I never know. I don't know what years he won it. Maybe they rotated between 2, like they did for Harden and Westbrook. I don't know. I don't know any of that.
Funny story. He when he was playing in Cleveland, they stayed at the Ritz, and I had a room at the Ritz at the time, and for like the weekend or whatever. And we were walking back in after going out, and he was like, the team bus was filing in, and obviously Trout was like surrounded by 2 bodyguards, and he wouldn't listen to me. So I grabbed him and like made this, he took a selfie with him and my friend, and he didn't say anything, but his bodyguards were pissed.
I mean, it's Mike Trout.
Arrested.
Mike Trout is literally the only person that I follow in baseball because he's from South Jersey.
I used to follow the Indians, but now that Francisco Lindor's out, no. Okay.
He went to the Mets.
So I have our bets of the week. I'll go through mine here. I go through mine. I have the Cavs plus 10.5 tonight against the Lakers. North Carolina over Pittsburgh on Tuesday, and then my weekend parlay, the SEC Big 12 Challenge special, number 24 Oklahoma over number 9 Alabama on Saturday, number 10 Texas over LSU on Saturday, and the number 20 Virginia Tech over Virginia on Saturday.
All right, so I did a weekend parlay and a parlay for tonight. My parlay tonight, Texas Tech plus 2.5 over West Virginia. Oklahoma State -3 versus Iowa State, and Arizona -5.5 versus Arizona State. And then for my weekend one, I did this before the poll came out, so the numbers are wrong. But Iowa over Illinois on Friday.
I saw that.
Saturday is, or my pick for Saturday is Kansas over Tennessee. I don't think they're going to go on a 4-game losing streak. I really don't. I know Tennessee's 6 and they were 9 last I looked, but I don't think that Kansas loses 4 in a row.
I hope not.
And plus, these are also without point spreads.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so mine was without point spreads.
Yep.
So,
and then for Sunday, given my biggies for the week, UConn over St. John's, depending on point spread.
All right. Well, those are your bets for the week. I'll post those someday this week, just as an update. But other than that, we are finished with the second episode of our Man to Man podcast. I would like to give a special shout out to my uncle and my uncle Jim. He owns Chuckle Dog Studios, does a lot of computer work. He made our awesome logo. I think it's pretty raw. I mean, even though it just says man to man with us in front of it. I think it's awesome. So
yeah, it looks so tough. I love it.
It's so much better than everyone else's. It's not funny, but
it's really not. And like, I know it's like, Baron or whatever, but like doing the brush and making us look like cartoons, it was dope. It's such a dope logo.
It looks great. So shout out to him. Thank you, Uncle Jim. I might need you for my 4th and Long logo. But other than that, yeah, Tom, have fun in school for the rest of your life.
Not the rest of my life. I mean, it's just
that's what they all say. That's what they all say.
Semester here and the year next year, and then I'm in the real world.
That's all I got. Cavs play tonight. Go Cavs. Tom?
Go Dogs. They're playing tonight as well versus our rival.
Who's your rival?
Xavier.
That's not your rival. Xavier is – okay, we're done.
No, that's